The prisoner deliberately tossed the baseball near the fence, then pretended to go pick it up, stepping right over the warning line, and quickly pressed himself against the wall to check his surroundings. Sure enough, he noticed the guard in the watchtower couldn't see him. Clearly this spot was a blind spot for the guards, but just as he was planning his escape, a guard suddenly sensed something was off. Mark instantly threw his hands up in surrender, telling the officer he was just grabbing his baseball, which convinced the guard there was no escape attempt. That night Mark returned to the same spot, and used bolt cutters to snip through the fence. The next morning the guards arrived to find Mark already gone, but shockingly he turned himself back in that same day. Everyone assumed he'd hit a dead end during his escape, but what they didn't know was he'd been scouting the area to plan a full breakout with all his fellow inmates. He then had a buddy steal a floor tile, and wedge it firmly into the bottom of the drain. Then whenever guards weren't around they'd dig a tunnel. If they heard guards approaching, they'd stash their tools in the drain, quickly cover it with the tile, and seal the cracks with cement. No matter how hard the guards searched, they never found anything. After 2 years of digging underground, just as their plan was about to succeed, a guard accidentally poured water and noticed something weird in the drain. He immediately called the warden, who yanked up the floor tile, revealing an unfinished tunnel right underneath. Someone was definitely trying to break out. The warden instantly rounded up all the guards and gathered every inmate on the yard for questioning, determined to find the ringleader. But after hours of interrogation, nobody confessed. What they didn't know was that tunnel was a decoy, planted on purpose for the warden to find. Their real escape tunnel was hidden under the dormitory drain. Unaware of the truth, the warden thought he'd crushed their plan, giving them even more time to dig. They went all out digging like crazy from then on. All the dirt they dug out, they secretly dumped during work detail the next day. But as the tunnel got deeper, there wasn't enough oxygen for everyone inside. So behind the guards' backs, they built a small hand-cranked fan, and being extra careful, they installed dozens of wooden supports throughout the tunnel to keep it from collapsing. With the escape route almost finished, everyone crawled in and made their move. But when they popped their heads out, they were met with a shocking sight. Their tunnel hadn't reached far enough, still short of the prison's outer wall. The prisoners were totally stunned. If they rushed out now, the tower guards would shoot them on sight. But if they didn't escape tonight, their whole plan would be exposed. They were completely stuck between a rock and a hard place, knowing they had no choice left. They decided to go for it anyway. Mark climbed out first and tied a rope to a nearby tree. Every time the patrol guard turned away, he'd tug the rope to signal the others. After repeating this several times, most of the inmates made it out safely. But right at that moment, a military jet suddenly flew overhead. The prison immediately shut off all lights to stay hidden. Seeing this as the perfect chance, Mark sprinted back to the hole, urging everyone still inside to climb out fast. But the light snapped back on the next second. Luckily, no one had been spotted. Mark tried the rope trick again, using subtle tugs to time everyone's exit. But one guy was so nervous, he tripped and fell right after climbing out. The noise he made caught the guard's attention, who came over with a flashlight to check it out. Thankfully, he didn't find anything. But after waiting way too long up top with no signal, the last inmate down below got impatient and climbed up on his own and ran straight into a guard. That blew their cover and got everyone caught. And just like that, the entire escape plan ended in failure.